Hi.
Whoa.
So we're
Oh,
already on Facebook. We're already recording.
wow, nothing like being on the spot.
Yeah.
Well, aren't you?
Now,
I wanted to tell you how sexy you looked, but now everyone can hear us, and so
so
just gonna know how we talk to each other.
you're giving me the vapors. All
Mm.
right. Let's see.
Welcome to another episode of
Scrutiny with Cheri and Andy.
I'm Andy Vargo, and this is my bestie.
Cheri Hardman. We decided to do something.
Yeah?
Andy Vargo and I will do anything for attention.
Yes, we will.
I'll tell you what I did. My nails, my hair, and my nails, my hair.
You gotta give yourself credit for all the things you do.
I'll tell you what I did earlier, later.
Now I don't know when it'll happen.
Earlier. And we're here to discuss my nails, my hair, and
Being the best at no matter what it is that you're doing. Now I don't know when it'll happen. Well, hello. It's so good to see you. I feel like we haven't talked since like
I know.
1999 or some bullshit.
I think it was at Odd Otter.
Yeah, gosh, that was the 13th. That was like 2 weeks ago. What the heck?
Was that 2 weeks ago?
Oh, I guess a week and a
10
half
days,
ago.
yeah.
Let's see here.
Well, guess we got lots to catch up on, huh? And you
Yeah.
know what? This is episode 68. So you know what that means?
The next episode's gonna be fun.
We got to plan something for the next one.
We do. So all y'all watching, pay attention because you don't want to miss that one.
Yeah, and if you have any ideas of what we could do for a 69th episode,
Yeah.
get in touch with us.
Maybe we should film it upside down. Or one of us.
One of us.
Oh,
That's funny.
well. So
Well, how have
Cheri,
you been?
What?
I said, how have you been?
I have been I've been all right. I've been gotten a little funk the last couple weeks, but I've been pulling out of it today. It was kind of the first day today and yesterday. I had a couple days ago where I started to feel like I was pulling out of it, but I had too many obligations to reap the benefits of like pulling out of it to where you can follow up and do the cleanup effort or the things that you are like, oh, now I'm motivated to get this done, but I can't get it done because I got to go to this thing. And
Right.
so today was really the first day where I had both the energy, focus, and the time. And I put my Christmas tree away. I have started getting things done that I need to get done, crossing some stuff off the list. And it's hard when you we all get in that space sometimes, and it's just sometimes it's like, is this going to be life forever? And I think giving into that thinking where you believe it, that's where the problem comes. If you can just say, you know what, it's not going to feel that great for a couple days, but this will pass. And
yeah. I've been having a rough week. Today was the first day that I didn't cry. But it's still early.
Yeah, yet. Right. I hear you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, like we feel like we're doing better, and then stuff catches us off guard, or just
Yeah. Well, and I really feel like right now, I don't know, we're both going through different things right now, but I feel like I have too many things to think about right now, and it's not really that much.
No,
but I think because of what I'm overwhelmed by, which is Noah's birthday's coming up Saturday, is making everything else just seem too hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really the things I have to do. It's what's down underneath.
Well, and we forget that whether or not we're consciously thinking about something, our brain is processing all the stuff that's going on in our life. So even though we're saying this task in front of me shouldn't seem that hard to just do this one thing, your brain's like already revving at so many miles per hour, or high RPMs or whatever. And so it's that extra little thing that we're trying to focus on that is just enough to burn out or to not happen.
Right.
So yeah, so that's fun. you've got some exciting stuff coming up, don't you?
I kind of do. I should tell, what do I have coming up? That's great. Because I want to tell you about where I've been lately too.
Yeah, there's so much to hear about and share.
Well, this week I am just concentrating on Saturday. I know I've already mentioned this to most people, but Saturday I'm taking Noah's friends and his brother and Avery out to our favorite place, Mongolian Grill. So this is going to be his first birthday since he's been gone. So I anticipate that it's going to be rough a little bit, maybe, so we're going to do what I think will make all of us feel maybe a little bit better. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that going on. But Tuesday, I'm going to be at the Comedy Nest at the Rendezvous Theater up in Seattle. So I'm excited because I don't get asked to do Seattle stuff that often.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm excited to go up there. And I used to be real intimidated by Seattle, but I'm not now. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that should be a good time. I was texting with our friend Steve today. 'Cause he's such a good writer with stuff, and we were started texting about something different, just hey, how's life kind of thing. But then I was like, I'm really trying to work on this bit, and I wrote this bit probably like 4 or 5 years ago, like when I was really new in comedy. I never was really that happy with it. I don't even know if I ever did it on stage. I may have once, and it was too long and drawn out at the beginning, and I was like, I like the punchlines at the end, but it was messy getting to it. And then I kind of gave up on it because I was joking about other stuff. But had dinner with a couple of friends the other night, and I was just telling them this more as a story. I was telling them like this reflection and like sharing part of this bit. And I was like, damn, I really like the premise. And so I need to, now that I have more experience, I want to resurrect that. So, so I don't know where I was going with that, other than I was, kind of started bouncing some ideas back and forth with Steve. And oh, I know what I was going to say, because I have some things coming up on the corporate side with where I'd like to bring in some more of the comedy. And so having some of these clean sets developed is really exciting to think about, because they're, for me, right before COVID started, in 2020, one of my goals was to develop comedy that was clean, non-dating, non-gay humor, and really have a solid 45 minutes to an hour of that developed. And I kind of put that on the back burner with COVID, and then I was like, all right, now I'm finally motivated to do that. And it's kind of like, oh, I'm actually ready to go to smoke mics and try this stuff, except I've got
other stuff
on
to
the
do.
calendar. Yeah, so I got to figure out when I can do that.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to tell about the only other thing that I really want to announce, like that's upcoming, that I'm excited. I'm not going to give any dates for these things, but I'll just say next month I'll be doing Stein's, I think it's Tap House up in Arlington.
Yeah.
I'll be doing Top Gun in Puyallup. I'll be doing Jazz Bones in Tacoma. I'll be doing Tacoma Comedy Club. I'll be doing Odd Otter. And I will also be doing a dirty show at Nate's on the 29th.
Wow, that you just like running them up one after the other.
I'm just going to go around, in a circle, it looks like, traveling.
It's really fun to watch how, and I know it goes in spurts. I know there's times where you feel like, I don't have anything booked and there's nothing going on, but what I've noticed with your careers, it's really taking off. And it's when you start to get the lineups, it's like really good stuff and a lot of it. And then you may have that lull, but then the bounce back is even bigger each time. It's just cool to see, like, it's one thing after another, and it's not necessarily always right here in town too.
That's true. That's very true. You know how my car got hit?
Yeah.
And so Geico is like, well, just bring it to this place on March 8th and they'll fix it and they'll give you a rental car. And so then I call the rental car place called me and I'm like, do you have anything with a trailer hitch? And he's like, no, you can't tow anything. I'm like, well, this is my dilemma.
Yeah.
Told him about my scooter and how I need a trailer hitch on the back so we can just hook the thing up. And he's like, well, what if we, did this or did that? And of course, none of his
Nothing.
ideas work because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I would hope that we have something that we, and I'm like, they're not going to have anything to help me. It's just so frustrating that.
What is I mean, I understand that there's not a lot of demand maybe for them to have something always available, but you'd think especially with a large rental company, when they have multiple locations in the region, that there would be something that they could move around with, especially when you have.
He said that they have some vehicles that that if you can't move your legs, you can drive it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's fine and everything. I go, but then once I get there
and you get
I
out,
can't get out of the car because my scooter's not with me.
Yeah, you'd think they would have like the vans that you could drive in the back situation or something,
I know. He's like, do you think could you just like pick it up and put it in like if it was a big van? I'm like, no.
Yes.
No, I can't do that.
Like if I have a hard time walking, I'm gonna have a really hard time picking up 200, 300.
So what I might have to do is take it in some other time when I'm not working or don't have to go anywhere for a few days and just.
Yeah. Is there an option where would you be able to use Dave's van and he could use the rental? Or is that work?
Yeah, but his van is particularly hard. He got it so that we could put our scooters in there.
Yeah.
But I wonder, I don't think his thing has a hitch. So what he does is he's got a ramp that he pushes it up.
So you gotta like get it all.
It's long and it's big, and
it's a Dave situation where he rigged it to work.
And when I hear him doing it, it's like, and I think, oh my God, he's gonna kill himself back
I didn't know if it was one where there was ramp and that you could I see.
So yeah, it's just little stuff like that that's annoying. And then I'm like, oh, should I just say forget it? But I don't want to drive around with an ugly car.
But these are also everyday things that are made harder because things are not accommodating that people need to be aware of.
Right.
That it's like you can't just go do this thing and say, oh, sure, we got a rental car for you, or we have this thing. And it's just surprising to me that they don't have one parked anywhere in the Seattle area that they could say, well, since he
was going to look into it and call me back, but that's been 2 days and I haven't heard from him. So I can try again, but I know what the answer is going to be. I assume. It was even like today looking for hotels. Everyone's like, look at Airbnb. And I'm like, God, I know you guys are trying to help, but.
Yeah.
So I looked just to make sure. And was there anything accessible? No.
And one thing, that's the thing is it's not a simple, here's, any option that's out there.
Well, and it can say accessible. And what that means to them is that they put bars by the toilet.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So anyway.
And that's with my option that I offered. I wasn't sure if you need to make that clear, what you needed in your profile or not on Grindr.
Oh. Yeah.
Looking for accessible room for the night.
I think for that particular thing, I'm the one that's missing some equipment. So
I think that people might get a hoot out of it and might just go for it. You never know. Yeah. So I had I'm getting ready to go. I moved some of you might be wondering, like, why does it look like I'm in my regular place? Because I moved my flight kind of last minute. I had an opportunity to push it back a couple days, and I was able to still not lose money on the hotel and save a little money to just delay my flight a couple days. And so I am going to Chicago Saturday for a conference that starts on Monday, and I'm really excited about that. It's the no longer virtual conference that I go to as much as I can every year. There's been a couple of years I couldn't go because of like family stuff going on at the same time, or COVID, whatever that was
right.
All. So that's coming up in Chicago. Last year it was in Utah. This year it's in Chicago. It's one of those events that is very invigorating for me. It kind of rejuvenates my focus and helps. Like each year that I go to it, I level up in what I'm doing with my business. I meet different people that are focused on similar things, that are very like-minded, and so cannot wait, because it's friends I get to see again, as well as meet some new people and learn some new things. So that's this week. But last week I did a workshop for one of the local incubator programs here for entrepreneurs. So they have these.
Incubator, what do you mean?
The incubator program is where it's like a startup or a small business, and they have these programs where they go through this course that's provided by one of these like institutions, essentially, like different places. There's 4 or 5 different incubators in Tacoma that essentially will take a small business under their wing and give them resources for marketing. They get grants that help them get free rent. They help them develop their website, make sure their message is right, help them with pitches in order to get funding, through the whole process of getting started up. And so they hired me to come in and do one of the workshops, kind of related to growing your business while using your personal brand. So I kind of tied in being authentic and having a presence in the market without tripping over yourself, and separating, this is me in business and this is me in life. Because when you're running your own business, those lines get really blurred, and that can hold you back if you don't just say, you know what, this is, I mean, you know how it is in comedy. It's, you're running a business and you have friends that you're doing business with, that you're trying to get hired, and you're friends, but you also are sometimes hiring each other, getting hired, or working together. Sometimes you're co-workers. So how do you manage all of that? So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. And I've had, one of the things I've really challenged myself to do the last year, which I've had to, because I've spoken in front of groups as small as 6 to 10 people to 500 plus, and I've had to learn to decide what things I have in my programs and apply it to the right size audience, so that I'm not walking in going, hey, this is going to work, we're going to have this great group discussion, and then there's 100 people there, so you can't have a group discussion very well. Or vice versa, where you get up and you do too much pomp and circumstances and acting type, I don't want to say like drama, but like hype. But if there's 5 people there,
That's too much. Yeah.
like, this is just overdone. So toning down my voice, or amping it up depending on the room. And so I was really glad to see what I did this week really worked with a small group in a more intimate setting, and said, we're focusing on the discussion and being interactive rather than me preaching to you for an hour. And so that was fun. And I've got another one coming up at the end of the month for 50 people, but that's in Florida. So
Ooh.
Exciting. First time I get to travel and speak and have to like get all my supplies in order, and ship them, be ready and
Oh yeah.
with you. And so I've been making sure I have everything ordered and have it here in time right now. It's weird to have to think that far ahead, because that's at the end of the month, but I'm leaving for part of the week. So
wow.
So that's, yeah. So what have you been up to? You got a lot of stuff to share. You've been doing some.
I was out of town for a while. I'm not going to say what day I went out of town, but I did go out of town.
Nice.
And I was doing World Series of Comedy was my intent why I went down there. But it was nice because I got to meet up with a woman that I know. Like I initially knew her mom. And then I knew her when she was real young. And then she worked at my mom's restaurant. We went to the same church. She's closer to my little sister's age than mine. But I was able to meet up with her and her friends, and we went out to eat and hung out one day. And so that was nice. So she lives in like, I don't want to, where, Baltimore, some there.
So she doesn't live in Vegas.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So she was her husband was going, and then I told her I was going. She's like, oh, I think I'm going to go too. And,
nice.
so we did that. That was fun. We spent a day together, and I did World Series of Comedy, and I did not, it's only the top 2 go on, and I did not make the top 2. And, but I got to see Todd and I got to see Kevin and Jubal came out too. So that was nice, and then
And I had some friends and family comment on the fact that they saw you on Jimmy Kimmel's stage at his show.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, the picture of you. They were like, "Oh, that's so cool. Cheri got to do that."
Yeah, well, I
And she
wasn't
opened.
there yet. Yeah, because Todd's like, well, if you're not going on in the World Series of Comedy, I'm doing a show at Jimmy Kimmel's if you want a spot. And I'm like, yeah. So
Yeah,
that was fun. It was actually really fun. It was a beautiful room, really nice green room. The picture, like just that stage looks so nice,
yeah. Oh, it looked great. And
So I
you
really
had,
felt good about it. It wasn't my best set I've ever done. Neither one of the sets I did in Vegas was, but it also all that was kind of learning for me because I feel like I'm kind of going through like I'm going through a change as far as comedy goes, and there are some things that I need to pay attention to more, some things I need to let go of a little bit. There's some things I need to believe in myself a little bit more, just a lot of little tweaks that were brought to my attention. And like I got really good notes from my show the other night, but they were every single thing he said was stuff that I had already been thinking about. This is what I need to work on. So
which
it was
can be
really,
reaffirming too.
it really was. And so, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. And then, it was kind of salty the other day. I was actually really mad here in my house. Was it yesterday or the day before about something? I won't say what it was, but just feeling very undervalued. Not here at home, but career-wise. And then right when I just got done telling Dave how mad I was about it, and Dave's like, "I'm gonna go burn that place down," threatened to burn something down, and
Yeah.
then I should be quiet about that because maybe one day he might burn something down. But, and then right then Nate called me like, "Do you want to produce another show at my place?" And so
Yeah,
that was like, it just kind of felt like that just happened right at the right moment. And, sometimes you got to be guided and just reminded.
Yeah.
Going where you're valued.
Yeah. I had an interesting thing a few weeks back where there was something that a group that I'm kind of involved in, and I was wanting to get more out of that group to benefit me more, like chances to be, involved in things and speak and get on podcasts and whatever. And it hasn't seemed like I've gotten it that much from people in that group. And there's another group that I haven't tried to get in very much, but they've reached out and asked me. And I thought, why am I so focused on wanting this when this is asking for me to be there and is equally good, if not better? And
right.
And it's like this person sees the potential and sees how amazing or good you are at what you do. And yeah, you don't even recognize that because you're so focused on that negative thing. And we do that all the time. And I know I've done that so many times relationship wise, whether it's even with friends or partners that you want to pursue, where it's like, oh, how many times you hear that story where it's like someone's looking at that person they want so bad, who doesn't give them the time of day or treats them like shit. And yet there's this person who thinks they're the most amazing thing in the world and they don't even see it. So yeah,
true.
Sometimes the universe just has a way of kicking you or nudging you a little bit.
Right. So like pay attention. So I'm really glad about that. And I got a little bit of material while I was in Vegas.
Good.
So I've been kind of working on something there, and it was a good trip. But again, I would love to go to all the casinos and all the hotels everywhere to explain accessibility to them and what is really helpful in a hotel room,
right,
versus what is not helpful in a hotel room. So,
well, a hotel or a stage or a performing venue, like,
well, that's true too. So, yeah, so I'm spending more and more time performing in my wheelchair. Just cause, so that's okay, but there, you know, there are gonna be some places where I can't do that, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those places are gonna have to start going away. Then I got, so like today, what I've been dealing with, you know, you saw online is I got, I applied for a festival, got in. I'm sure probably everyone that applied got in, but whatever. You know, just a fledgling festival, but it's a woman thing. And, you know, I got rejected by the Northwest Women's Festival. So, but I've been wanting to be in a women's festival. So I was kind of excited about doing this, but it was in Austin.
And
right at spring break time. And airfare didn't look too bad, but hotels, there's no way. I'm not paying $500 a night to go to a festival where I'm not making any money. So I decided that I'm not going to go, you know, and I feel okay with that. A little disappointed, but you know, it's not. I'll be fine.
Well, at least it's not like you blew it off. You did try to make it work, and that's what I don't know that a lot of people understand. I didn't realize it until I got started in comedy, and even till I was a few months in and started talking to people about how comedy really works. And so many comedians are traveling and touring on their own dime, and that's why you've got to keep that day job. And even when people start, you know, getting paid to feature headline, they're not necessarily making enough money to cover all the travel expenses.
Right.
And, I don't know how certain people do it. Sometimes it's like, wow, how does that work?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was like looking at all the downtown hotels, like where I've stayed in Austin before, and they were just so expensive. So then the cheapest hotel that I could find that wasn't like a Motel 6 or something, I'm like, I gotta read the reviews, and oh, sure enough, it was like cockroaches.
Oh no.
And one of my biggest fears in the world is cockroaches. The only time I've ever even seen a cockroach in my life was in Austin. And I don't want them in my hotel room.
Well, and it's one thing if the review says something like, they didn't have a very good breakfast, or they were slow, or they didn't. It's not like where people give bad reviews because it's like that. When it's like bed bugs, cockroaches,
forget it. And they said there are little people that are sleeping out in the outdoor hallways in their underwear, and I'm like, no, I'm not staying there for $200 and something a night.
Which explains why it's half price of all the other ones, but still, a lot of money. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I did have a breakthrough. I know I've told you a little bit about this.
Herpes
story.
or
not an outbreak, a breakthrough.
Got it.
So I met this guy come to Otter for karaoke, and just clicked right away. And now there were a couple things about this situation. And I don't know if you guys can see me blushing already as I tell this story. But anyway, we connected and we were talking. And after karaoke got over, we went across the street to the other bar with like the group went over there. And I didn't even think this guy was gay, which I think is actually what made it more of a magical experience. But we're connecting and we're talking. And at one point I just finally said, hey, are you like gay or straight, or do you date guys or women? I don't remember exactly how I worded it, but I just was like, hey, I just am curious, you know, what your situation is. And turns out he was gay, but because I just said, you know, I'm feeling a connection. I feel like there's some chemistry. And I have also misread that at 1 a.m. in a bar. So, you know, I'm trying to be better about that. And so that was the first time, that is actually the first time I've ever asked a guy that I was actually interested in if they were gay. And I'm getting better at this whole like, hey, it's no big deal, just, you know, who you looking to date. And I'm totally happy to meet people and be friends. But if you're feeling like there's chemistry and you don't know which bucket to put that in, it can be very misleading or confusing.
Well, and you have spent a lot of time wondering about someone that you're spending time with when you could have just asked them. So that's a big step for you.
Yeah. So that felt good. Now, turns out he was getting on a plane to Kentucky the next day. so there's that. And then of course, and the other realization was, I felt like there were a couple things that I realized. One was I really do want that connection, and I need to be more honest with myself about how nice that would be to have when you experience it, even for a brief moment. And it's not even like we hugged goodbye, but we didn't even kiss. Like nothing ever went anywhere. But it was we exchanged, information and chatted a little bit the next couple of days. But one of the things that I realized was that I would be willing to try a little bit harder if I knew that was the connection I was going to have. So even though this guy clearly, unless like something changes and we run into each other again or whatever, we, probably never see or talk to him again. However, it made me be more willing to be like, okay, well, if I would consider even talking to somebody in Kentucky, maybe I should think it's okay to talk to somebody in Seattle or Federal Way a little further than I usually talk. And then I'm not quite sure how old he was, but he was under 40, I'll say. and it made me realize that as much as I've been single for 6 years now and not found anybody where I connect, and it made me realize that if I meet somebody where I connect with them, I'm not going to get hung up on what what might be there that could be in the way. It's like, if it feels good, I'm going to pursue it, because I'm not gonna be able to say I'm gonna find somebody within this 3-mile block of my house, within this age range, whatever. And I mean, it wasn't like 12 or anything, but I didn't ask how old he was. And the problem too is that I have people constantly think I'm about 10 years younger than I am. So I don't know where the ranges line up, but we'll see. Anyway, I'm saying too much. And also, I wasn't drunk at 1 a.m. in the bar. I had been hosting karaoke, so I had a drink, but I was
Well,
not.
we know he was at least 21.
Yes, he was older than that. I mean, but yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was, feels good to be moving forward with some things. And I had my therapy last week or this week, which was epic. My psychologist made a comment about something along the lines of how it's like, because I haven't been assertive my whole life with things, it's like I'm finally getting fed up and realizing that that's costing me, or it's getting in the way, to the point where I'm willing to just be like, hey, we got to move things forward, or have a conversation, or just put stuff out there. So, which needs to be applied to many areas of my life. It's a recurrent theme, being the nice. That's why, the whole nice guys finishes last things. Some truth to it.
Well, I'm having some trouble, and I don't know like where to go to get help for this. So, I did those shows for Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
And I paid to get them all recorded.
Right.
I have 5 of them. He sent me one and I can't download it. It says this file is too big for Google to scan for whatever. And then it says, do you want to download it anyway? And I say yes. And it goes for a while, and then it just says network error.
Huh.
I've tried 100 times and it hasn't worked.
Here's a question. I'm not the IT guy, but I've heard it said sometimes that if you're doing it over Wi-Fi versus a hard plugged in connection can make a difference. So I don't know, you can try it on a laptop or a PC that's actually plugged in with a cord and not using the Wi-Fi, or put your laptop by the router and plug it in. It's a possibility, but that's the end of my guesses for. But
yeah, I'm not even sure if I'm on the Wi-Fi or if I'm plugged in, because I'm on my PC.
I guess the other option would be to ask them to physically put them on, like pay to give them some thumb drives to put them on, and then give them to you that way.
That's probably what I'll have to do, because
I've had to do that.
Frustrating. I want to put some clips out, and I've been trying to download this for almost, well, I don't want to say a week, but it's getting there, to be a week.
if you're like me, it's like you're asking for something from somebody. And even if you pay for it, once you've asked for it, you're still like, you don't want to be that kind of annoyance of
Right, but I mean, he's only sent me 1 out of the 5, so he still owes me more stuff, so.
So it's not like he's done all his work.
But it's like, I don't, yeah, but it's like, I don't know, like, is this my fault or is this something he could fix on his side? Like, I don't know if I'm asking him to help me with this, if that's out of his range of things to do. I just don't know. And I'm not great on a computer, but
you're pretty
I'm
savvy.
okay. I mean, I know how to do some things and I know how to figure some things out.
Yeah.
If I don't know them, I know where to look.
Right.
But I'm stumped on this. This has not happened to me before. But
That's annoying, especially when you click the things and it says, okay, do you want to bypass this thing and just do it? And you're like, yeah. I'm like, I made the choice now.
right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I got it. I don't know, but it's frustrating.
And I can never tell when it says things like network error, this error. It's like, is that my network? Is it their network? Is it the site? Is it my computer? So that is a tricky one. But that's,
and then I hate, like, if you try to ask on Facebook, people that know as much as I do or less try to answer by asking stupid fucking questions like, well, did you do this? And it's like, oh my God, shut up.
Did you unplug it and plug it back in? Is it turned on? Which is always worse when someone asks that question and you're like, oh crap, I didn't do that. And then that's what fixes it. And you're just like, I'm not going to tell you that was
yeah. So I'm frustrated by that because I would like to.
Yeah.
Well,
that's such a big thing. And also, like, it feels good to strike while the iron's hot and get them out there. But which I always feel like, oh, it's been too long, I shouldn't put things out. But I see people post up all the time that's like, oh, throwback to 2 months ago, or late post on getting this out there, and it's still exciting to see. So
well, it's such good video. I mean, he's the one that he does all Nate stuff, so it looks good, sounds good, but yeah, it doesn't help me if I can't. I don't know if there's some other way I could open it or some other way. I don't know.
I've been trying to pay attention, like when I'm on YouTube or TikTok or even Facebook, and seeing the way that other speakers or comedians are formatting their videos. And like, if I used to think, oh, I need to show the whole audience because I want to show that I'm in front of a big room, but I've noticed that more of them are just like up close on the person.
Yeah.
And you hear the crowd in the background. And so that's kind of really made me pay more attention to how I'm framing mine, and doing a little bit more edit work to get that. And I still am self-videoing, I'm still setting a camera up and then going up to speak. So one of my next gigs, I'll actually end up paying a videographer to capture, so I can do that, because that is one thing that I really, that's kind of the next step for me, is to do that. I have 2 things that I am working on by the end of April on the marketing front, and that's one of them. So
yeah, I want to work on I want to get people booked for. Actually sold some tickets to Permanent PO today, right after you asked, so that was weird. And
yeah, well, there was a group that was in, and they're like, oh, that's that guy that opened for Brian Reagan, and they were all excited, and then they were kind of like, oh, it's on a Monday, so I'm not sure. So it's purposely on a Monday. So I wasn't sure if they ended up getting tickets yet or not, but
yeah, well, it is getting a lot of comments and stuff. So
yeah,
but I've only put it on Eventbrite, so I haven't even put it in all the other places where I usually advertise it. That's on my list for this weekend, is all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I got to book the show at Nate's, just really trying to figure out who we're going to have for our April headliner.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think you said we're going to do Pride at the end of June, right?
Yeah, and that works out well because technically June is Pride Month, but Tacoma, Pierce County's Pride Month is all the activities are in July.
But we can kick it off.
It's kind of a good kickoff, because by the time we get to the end of July, it like feels so removed, because Pride is, I want to say, July 12th, whatever that second Saturday is in July. So there's stuff leading up to it. So the first, really that first week of July, first and second week is really the concentration of all the stuff. So
I think May, I want to try to get Monica back and do another woman show.
yes, I love Monica.
Yeah. So I think
She's
it's been long enough that she can come back.
she's my second, no offense, Monica, second favorite female comedian in.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay.
But also, like, I actually don't like using the word. I don't like putting, woman or female in front of comedian. It's like, you're a comedian. Like, it doesn't matter. Unless you're saying, oh, I'm doing a woman show or whatever. Great. Or if it's, there's times where it's appropriate to say this person is a great voice in this circle. But if you're saying this is a really funny comedian, you totally devalue it by putting an ethnicity, saying that's a really gay comedian. To say it's a really funny comedian who does a lot of gay material, or like sometimes there's like ways that you're like, okay, I'm saying it in this context because that's what we're talking about. But if you're just saying, oh, it's almost like, well, that's a really good second tier person. And
right. Oh, that reminds me, I don't think I ever told you the second part of the story. So, I'm riding my scooter through Luxor in Vegas, and I hear some guy say,
"Oh, yeah,
watch out, Seattle comedian coming through." And I'm driving, and then I'm like, wait a minute. So I stopped and I backed up, and I'm like, I heard that. Oh yeah, we've seen you at Tacoma Comedy Club all the time. You're so funny.
That's so cool.
And that was cool. So I took her phone number and then texted her where I was going to be and all that. They didn't show up, but guess who was on the same plane coming home?
They were?
They were, yeah.
Really?
So, what a fun coincidence, And she told me her name was Katrina, like the hurricane. So you can't forget that,
Right.
And so she got on the train she gets on and then I started to say bus. She gets on the plane, good God. And I went, Katrina, it was just funny. And then she's the one, how hard it is for me to get my suitcase off the baggage. She got it off for me. She's a beautiful, strong Black woman, and she helped me out in my little pansy little state.
Your fans? Did you get selfies? Like, hey, I saw some.
No, I forgot. I did forget. I did get a selfie with someone at the Tiffany Haddish thing.
I remember.
But that's the other thing that I really want to work on, and that I learned from Tab Lloyd. She's a comedian in Vegas, and she actually gives out her phone number on stage.
Okay.
And her Instagram, and tells people, pull out your phone right now. I didn't hear exactly what she said. Like what the phone number's about and what she does with that. But then she came backstage and sat down, and she's like, well, I got 19 new followers so far. Wow. Just boom, like that. So I'm going to talk to her and see, what exactly is it that you do? And somebody else did something that I thought was really oh, why don't I do that too?
I've heard people say that, text me and then I'll send you a clip of a new joke, or I'll send you'll get a thing that's not released yet, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
so I got to work on that one phone number, that Google phone number I got that I couldn't figure out how to get to work. But, it just gave me some ideas, don't be so afraid to just promote yourself, because the audience loved her. Nobody thought, what are you doing? Or,
Yeah, one of the things that I have not been good at, that I'm working on this year, is when someone mentions anything that could be an opportunity, is just following back up. I was having dinner with some folks the other night, and they were like, oh, we should put you in touch with so-and-so because they would be a good thing. And just, not necessarily right away, but in the next week or next time I chat, just say, hey, do you think that's a possibility? I'd love to make that happen, because it's a priority to me. It's something nice they're doing, but it's not their livelihood online if things don't happen. So I need to be the one that says, hey, you mentioned this would be a thing. Or I was chatting with a friend last night, and he didn't know about one of my books, the journals. And I was telling him about it, and he's like, that might be something I'd be interested in for my employees, because it's the work gets better one. And just, bringing a copy next time and saying, hey, this is the book I thought, you mentioned you might be interested in. Let me know if you want to do a bulk order. I can do a discount for however many 10 or 20 or days you have. And just being okay using that as an invite, with them saying, we want to support you, we have an opportunity, and seeing that as an invite and not as intrusive by actually asking again, because most people are happy to help, but we go through all the stuff in our head, and oh no, I don't want to do it, and I don't want to sound desperate, and I don't want to be that guy, and I don't want to be annoying, and I don't want to be a pushy salesperson.
Yeah, well, there's so many things to think about.
Yes, there are.
So many things to do. Yeah, I don't know why we have to go to work though. What's up with that?
I am really looking forward to being independently wealthy very soon.
It will be soon. It will be. I was so happy, by the way, to see Ken Hamlet the other night.
No, I wish that I would have seen him while he was here.
It just really made me realize how much I miss him. Like,
he's a good guy.
He is a good guy. And a lot of times people I talk to are delusional about themselves, and he's not, like he's good, a good comedian, a good solid comedian.
I lost some respect for him when I found out that he was a stashist. Because he has that joke about handlebar mustache people being creepy.
Yeah.
For those who haven't seen it, look up Ken Hamlet. He's got it on Facebook, talking about how creepy the handlebar mustache is, and I'm just like, I do think it's creepy, actually.
Yeah.
There was a guy walking by the auto the other day, and Trevor was like, hey, you think he's cute? And I was like, I'm not attracted to handlebar mustaches. It's like, it's not for me. And then he's like, well, you have one. And I was like, so you have a penis, does that mean you're attracted to men?
That's a good point.
Right.
So when do you leave Saturday? Like more early morning or afternoon, or?
I'm doing the red eye.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to go early, so ideally I would have
Friday night red eye or Saturday night red eye.
Red eye. Ideally, I would have left middle of the day Saturday or early Saturday, but I have a Zoom that I'm hosting at 2:00 on Saturday. That's not movable. It's a very big event, and so it wasn't a thing. Since I'm the speaker, I couldn't be doing it from the airport and just listening. I couldn't,
Right. Yeah.
trying to get there on time and hope that I'm settled in my hotel and have a connection. So I was like, okay, I just need to do that and then go to the airport. And that meant that the next time was like, it was like a 5:00 flight or the red eye. And I was like, well, the red eye and not pay for hotel for Saturday night. So,
right.
So I'm just going to get there and then check my bag at the hotel.
Do you just Uber to the airport or what?
I usually park at one of the, not at the airport, but there's a SeaTac Park is one of the lots nearby that I like to park at and then shuttle over.
Yeah. I use Shuttle Park too. I was just going to see, because Shuttle Park too is so good to me.
Yeah.
Really are. Really, really nice.
Spot. Yeah.
Yeah. And because I can't just park there and take their thing over. They drive me over in my vehicle and then drive back, and then they come pick me up. And
that's really awesome.
Yeah. And they're really good. I mean, they know who I am. They know where I'm going. They know what I'm doing. And yeah. So
yeah.
Guys.
Yeah. I like it. It's this place is like a family owned place. It just has the one lot there, and it's really feels good to support a smaller business that, so that's that. I heard about it from a colleague, 10 years ago. Started using that. So.
Okay. Well, I think we're
ready.
And my food just came. I heard my husband come in.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, we're having Taco Bell.
Well, enjoy that. Maybe later we can catch up, because I have a couple questions for you.
Oh. Okay. Well, if you want to do it right now after this, I'm going to go get my food and bring it in.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Well, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Next time on our 69th episode.
Woohoo!
Bye.
That might get hairy.